What a way to start this match. A 15-13 that goes the way of All Knights. It was their map pick up Sunset, and they're able to take it away at the end. Now, after a couple overtimes, though, it was very intense between the two. And honestly, if we go back for the beginning of the rounds, it did not start that way, though. It was a 4-0 going this side of GLRS. And I got worried for a second, Psycho, but it was all part of the plan. They were able to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, I even said before the game started, I said if GLRS want a chance here, they need to control the pace. They need to take the lead early, and that's exactly what they did, but it did not seem to be enough. You know, AK took a little bit to get started. They started on the weak side of the map, but they got enough rounds in that first half that by the time they got over to attack and started getting Deus activated up mid on that Neon, it was, you know, smooth sailing from there.
I mean, I really liked the defense side, honestly, from All Knights. It was pretty good because they did have to adjust to the fact that obviously they're at a disadvantage. You know, they're getting peeked into, they're getting overrun a lot on the A side. So what they do is they like really focus on mid. They have like 3 players stacked top mid to make it so someone like Sato can't pinch the site. And then when it looks like the GLRS aren't moving in the mid, aren't taking that space, they take it themselves. And they basically pull off the A side, set up in mid and encircle it for these big flood retakes that come from 3 different angles. Come from short, comes from spawn, comes from link, and then comes the wraparound from A long. So they've got a ton of options. They fight really well inside those post plants. You can see GLRS only 6 out of 11 post plant rounds won. All Knights win 4 crucial retakes in those kind of situations. They do a really good job at identifying what parts of the map that GLRS are opting to give up in order to have these like really hard hits on that A side, especially.
Yeah, both sides of the map. Mid site was the win factor for AK. It's very clear that they put a very high importance on controlling mid and preventing the split up mid from the enemy team Neon, because, you know, as we saw in their attack, that's exactly what they did. You know, more often than not, they're trying to get Dante Deus up mid, splitting into the site from the back while they're hitting it from the front. I mean, they know exactly what to watch out for because they're the ones doing it on the other side. So it's an interesting duality from these guys. You know, GLRS on the other hand, you know, towards the end of those rounds, especially that last round, they were playing scared. They're starting to play back off of the site. They realized they couldn't stop, you know, the flood onto the bomb site. So they're just trying to play the retake. And unfortunately, when you gave Dante Deus that much space, just get into the site and then start pushing for that extra kill and get that man advantage while his team's planting. That's a tough situation to be in when you're trying to retake 4v5.
You can always be expecting Dante Deus to be pushing somewhere and getting some kills that you don't even know how he got. It's something that he's doing constantly, and he did it in the series. Even when you're playing, which is honestly something that doesn't happen very often. It's very rare when we see the Neon versus Neon head-to-head on Sunset specifically. So when you're playing this, you know you need to take the upper hand no matter what. And that is something that Dante Deus was doing constantly. Yesterday, everybody was talking about him. Really good performance today in that first map alone. Uber, he got 31 kills. Once again being the difference maker, showing as well consistency, which is very important for him. And now we're moving into a map of Haven where he can also be set up for success in the same way.
It's kind of nice that we foreshadow something as analysts and it plays out. And I think the biggest narrative for us is that Dante does some frankly unreasonable things. They're just, it's completely harebrained, and on multiple occasions on Sunset, it worked out, right? Walking up elbow solo, kills the first person, slides, kills the second person. This stuff is just another day at the office for Dante. And it's entirely plausible we see the very same thing on the map of Haven. If we start to look ahead a little bit more. One thing before we leave this Sunset discussion, something we saw in overtime is that eventually GLRS started to play a little scared on the defensive sides in overtime. They gave up mid. It got smoked out. They left a Cypher cam up there, but then they one-way a smoke over towards the A side and A long, and they don't hold it. They're actually like double stacking back inside the elbow itself instead of sort of playing for it. They really are giving a lot of map up. They look like they're playing scared. Like they're afraid of the explosiveness that we're seeing from All Knights there. That's going to be a factor on Haven as well. And it's something that's going to put a lot of pressure on you, especially GLRS are going to start on the defense side. The map already stretches your resources defensively very thin. And when you have a player like Dante who can just go 1v2 quite happily, at the drop of a dime in many of these rounds. 9-3, first kill, first death on Sunset. Very solid scoreline. It's exactly what you're asking for from your duelist. Look show, by the way, on your screen just there. 47% headshot percentage, by the way. Really?
47.
Wow.
Very sharp over the course of that map. Has a huge impact, 208 ACS. So definitely the star player from GLRS there, despite Sato, you know, absolutely popping off as well. So this is what we talked about. GLRS have that talent distributed across their whole team. You know, Dante
Yeah, the
Diaz
shooters are shooting.
Dante Diaz is the kind of player that attracts a lot of that activity. He's a high economy player, which means like a lot's invested in him. He definitely leads the way, but you know, GLRS have a lot of depth. If someone can't step up, there's always next man up mentality on that roster. So that's what keeps them in these games. That's what gave them such a great attack side on Sunset as well. So do not count them out.
Yeah, I do expect Sato to step up a bit more here. I mean, this is such an important duelist map, Haven, especially with the operator, and this is his opportunity to shine and say, hey, look, you know, I'm just as scary as Dante can be, right? And that's what these guys need, right? They need to make a statement here. They need to come out. They need to come out and show that they can go toe to toe with these guys, because right now, you know, that was a close match, but it seemed like even the rounds where AK was losing, they were rounds where AK had the round in control. And just all of a sudden, you know, they're getting outshot by GLRS in the mid to late rounds. So I want to see a lot more round control. I want to see a lot more controlling the pace, controlling the map control, not playing scared back on site, but instead pushing forward, contesting zones, getting information to allow rotations to come in on time to prevent these guys from flooding into the site.
Which is something that was happening yesterday for both of the teams. They would have an advantage, whether it was in the amount of rounds that they have or inside of that same round, and they were not able to close it out. So that's something that both of the teams today are trying to fix, and all nights they have the upper hand with the map that they just got. But for the second one, things can be different. Let's jump into the agent select though, because we haven't seen this map of Haven just yet on the side of all nights. We didn't see it yesterday, so today could be a possibility for something new. And this is where we're gonna be seeing the Neon played out on one side and Sato on the other side with the Jet Uber.
Yeah, okay, so that's not so shocking. It's actually that All Knights have almost always played Astra on this map. Always. They've played it for ages, months and months and months. So that's the change, obviously, going on. Not a huge deal, right? But it is a bit of a comp switch up. Curious to see, or at least to hear what the reasoning is behind that. But they're scary on this map. Look out.
We're gonna see how this is gonna play out. It could be an all-night duo, or it can be GLRS pushing us to a third map as we saw in the first series. Let's find out with Vance and Gompers.
I'm not really sure how this is going to go, but we did happen to go down to an OT in the last game. And honestly, both of these teams are fighting for their lives, Vans, to try to survive this grouping stage.
Definitely, and we won't even have time to talk about that change yet now, because there's players from All Knights looking for the contact on the top of C, as GLRS are pushing all the way down here towards this B side, looking for the lurk and the flank. But that trip's going to be everything. An opportunity now for All Knights to have a free plant, an easy plant, and even potentially flip the site.
Planted.
TP across is not going to get hurt, though. This will be an opportunity for a first pick from Luxo.
That pick goes down, though. Now for All Knights at this point, they're just applying a lot of that pressure, already starting off to the defensive side. They did manage to get majority. So yeah, that 2v2 equal playing field now. They can finally see if they can keep that post plant positioning well intact, but already not really working out in favor of All Knights. That is going to be GLRS' first round.
Beautifully done towards the end, and that's a great read coming through, knowing that you're playing against a Cypher that potentially, when you're trying to explode on the site, on the attack side, you'll move up as a death ball here in the pistol round, and not being able to hear the TP across allowed really the snowballing effect of GLRS on a retake towards that site. If not for beautiful shots coming out from Sato too, though, that insta-dink and dash away just to keep those opponents close to him so that the other two players could rotate up towards that top. Very nicely done. And now GLRS trying to bring that momentum back right away here in this second map. A tough overtime loss on the first map. And they're just trying to close it in, but look at All Knights. They're going for a force buy. Stingers all across. Maybe why you don't have an Astra, you want to have that extra flash coming through on the flood. And it works.
They're already making themselves comfortable. Wow. Honestly, yeah, over towards the C site. Seems like nobody's coming out alive when you're on the side of GLRS, but they did fight hard for their lives. And there is potential to bring it back. Of course, a buy round coming through from All Knights. They're intending to keep this round in their pockets, and they just want to end it off in a flawless 2-0. So is that going to be the case? Maybe. They can keep this one intact already. Sato's not making it any easier now. Alongside their teammate, but Tinshaw has other expectations coming along. They know all they need to do is make sure that this post-plant scenario is going to work out. They know they've waited long enough to know that this is going to be a fake, and they're backing themselves off the halfway point, maybe rushing it down if all they can do is find it, but they don't. Hit it behind box. He's going to be Sato. Nice play.
Sato with the pros don't fake. was trying to find the opportunity to go for the cloudburst, and finally is able to stick it because he knew that it was a safe plant across the gamble of the buy that you had coming out from All Knights. It all came down to that post plant. Miscommunication as soon as that smoke came through. It really cut down the crossfire setup, catching Nico Machine out in the open. Sabano couldn't even get the trade off because it was a second player flooding through. And that was the end of the demise here for All Knights, which looks so good at the beginning, though, on the board of how they attack towards that C site. Rarely do I see that, actually, because usually when you're seeing these B-side hits on force buys, because it's easier for you to plant and fall back, the fake would be to tap and go towards the A-link and catch the players on the rotates. But that extra piece of utility from throwing the fault line from the garage side out towards that C-link, an extra push into the garage as well from your Omen that allows for you to really dwindle down the numbers and suffocate the defenders towards the garage and the C-link to get such a good plant towards that C site. Until, unfortunately, that final moment with that smoke dissipating, that everything just fell to pieces. And that's exactly what, Psycho was mentioning at the desk. They needed to activate a little bit more of map control and maybe trying to get maybe better lurks as well to not allow these retakes to happen and the flood retakes to happen here from GLRS' side. And you see what happens when you give that opportunity, that space for GLRS to fight hand in hand on the retake. Yeah. They will potentially win it most of the time.
That was great too. Honestly, kind of just using pretty good information in their best efforts here. I think it was just a big mistake on the placement too, because you have the spike set down. It was a big buy round. They had huge potential to keep the round to themselves, but there was no wraparound. There was no distraction. It was just sitting inside of garage waiting for the diffusal to come through from GLRS. And unfortunately, it just really was not the best position to be in, especially since the spike is not even directed towards you. I'm not going to lie, that did catch me by surprise a bit, but...
Yeah, I remember seeing that yesterday. A little bit of a jump scare, Slenderman, whatever. It's the angle of... The best photo angle you could actually have here for...
I agree.
For the memes, but thankfully, the tech pause didn't last too long. We do have it's okay. They're going for it. They're going to go for a force buy once again for All Knights against an Outlaw, which is a great buy for Sato. But for everybody else, it's just pistols, and that's where they're stacked towards to. This is a free plant now for All Knights.
Yeah. This is going to be good, though. I'm surprised everybody's moving out forward so far, literally holding no respects over to GLRS. At this point, all they really want is to seek out revenge for the previous rounds. They weren't able to keep inside of their pockets, but this time, AK, this might just be it. Of course, though, so much information just gathered by. Now here comes the push in. Slowly preparing themselves for something big. Everybody else watching left, right-hand side. Nobody comes out of this alive. And honestly, that might just be the case very quickly. So, already ending that off 2-1. This is going to be All Knights finding themselves around.
The timing and the protocols around All Knights on the post plan was just nice to watch here, as they knew they had an opening window to try to fight towards the A-Link. And that's what, again, Psycho is talking about, being more proactive around the map too, not only on lurks, but flipping maps. So they push out towards the connection, they keep the players at bay. Then they heard this Outlaw being shot from the C-Link, so they heard the one shot, so there's not going to be too much. They have an opportunity to go for a second swing out into the A connection. But then after that, tucked in, don't give Sato a line of sight here with that Outlaw, and you just let them flood back against you is perfect. But now overdrive out, Recon Dart pinging one towards the right side, and here comes the Finger Blaster and takes down Sato in the back of the site. And all that util is just, everybody's stunned every single time, man. The util around it is so good.
It's insane. And Dante, seriously, immaculate player. We got to see exactly how good they are in the last map. But the fact is they can't do it alone. It's like you said, like the stuns were insane. The fact that they could just get away with that. The fact that everybody's working together in cohesion. Nico Machine is leading the team to be able to get plays like this. It really does allow other players to shine. And now, obviously, GLRS can't really do anything about it. They've allowed this round to go into the way of All Knights, and they just have to pray for the next round.
It comes to show, too, the flexibility around the initiators of this All Knights, right? The last map here on Sunset, it was Adverso playing this breach, but this time he's switching over to a Silva, and the breach is on the Nico machine, and it works out on how they're working that map. Dude. We're gonna get a couple of flashbacks here, or a couple of glances here and there of close-up shots that's going to catch me off guard. But overall, I lost my train of thought. Let's move into the next round. But I gotta say, the aggression coming out from All Knights and the pressure that they have on force buying every single time, the confidence that they have too, after getting that first map win, is off the charts. And GLRS will have to play the comeback game, and they have to be pristine within this round, especially around the Bladestorm, if they want to have a chance here to keep this close and get as many defensive rounds as they could here on this map of Haven.
Right here.
Take flight. Slowly moving themselves back over towards A. This drone, what exactly does it capture, other than the fact that, yeah, it does actually leave Evil moved back, which could work out well.
Here.
Camera's good though. Find a timing for the defensive side. It may punish some players. And they hear the camera, so they don't want to overextend, and they want to try to punish inside the window. So a stalemate, couple of pop shots exchanged, but it's still GLRS falling back here to play a little bit more passively towards this A site while inserting Brood into Bunny.
Yeah, the Hunter's Fury making its way to lots of information gathered. Right now, though, Sato has absolutely no idea what's going on. If anything, they can apply some pressure by pushing themselves in here with Evil's dart, maybe Evil's drone. There's so much to utilize in this moment. They're not going to do it just yet, already moving themselves forward, though they do get caught out by Stefano just waiting inside of the smoke, and everybody on the side of All Knights, they have it. Every single corner, every single inch justified for, and the flank that was supposed to come along earlier came along a little bit too late.
Yeah, and he couldn't. There was a trip that was set up the whole time. They didn't have an opportunity for GLRS to find Tinchoff to pick on off a little bit quicker. And you're hoping at least for the flood attempt that you're trying to do on the other side here of the A site to create enough of a diversion so that Root could come for that leaked flank. But how many kills did they get on that flood retake? Nada. So it shows how All Knights once again in a great spot here on the pulse plan, the utility to have your breach towards Hell on Nico machine to throw that aftershock to counter back on the paranoia that was being thrown on the flood retake attempt from Luxo is just nice. So all Knights, they're just really content with continuing to play with this heavy aggression on their attack side.
Scanning ahead.
I mean, by all means, All Knights, they... Wow, they're literally just letting Dante do his thing at this point. I feel like that's just the way things are going to go from now on. Okay, let me get one behind. Let's see what I can do right here. Okay, Jiggle Peak doesn't necessarily work. Listen, take it back. I'm so sorry. I cursed you. I take it back.
There's still a hat at least and a trip, so that gets information. B site's open. They'll get the double smokes in and maybe even plant for the A link because they don't have that second smoke on the left side. And there you go. They'll plant on that side. Hunter's Fury coming through. It cancels the plant for a bit, allowing the rotate to happen for GLRS.
Not ready. Deploying drone.
They did close that down. That's going to be good for now. You know, with the spike ticking and all, it is going to fuel, lots and lots of pressure. All Knights, they are round win after win coming through.
And that's the first attempt from GLRS to try to fight back against this hyper aggression of Dante down towards the A choke. You saw that they attempted the fault line, a recon dart, and a paranoia. 3 pieces of utility that's being utilized on the defensive side. And what does Dante do? Just runs across all of it, finds the timing. The smoke towards bricks allows for him to turn back around and win that 1v1 and keep 3 players towards that A site so that they could go for that easy hit towards B. This is just too good right now coming out from All Knights. And also the fact that they're continuously pushing forward off the information that Dante is getting on who's flanking or who's not. Then they could plant for the post plant, or they could plant for an aggressive push. Like, all this is all in a span of like 27 seconds in a round. This communication, I know Spanish speakers are usually very quick, but I think if I listen to Team Com's videos coming in from All Knights right after, I think I'm going to listen to an auction house for a whole 30 minutes.
An auction house is so funny. That is great. No, it honestly is. It is very, very fast, which is absolutely crazy. But that's the thing. It's the comms coming through. You can definitely tell everybody is actively communicating with each other every single second, actively telling each other, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we need to do. Right. Even when Dante was pushing up, there was huge rotation, just kind of following along to see where else they could clear as those moments were happening. So it's the gathering, it's the collection of all of this information that does allow All Knights to flourish like this. So 2-4, of course, GLRS, they can bring it back. But the question is when? How's that going to happen?
Yeah. And I got to give props as well to All Knights on how they've been evolving so far here with this composition, so much on that neon for Dante. I mean, when you look at how they qualified through this, is also to have been Exolos, the X-Fusion team that was led by Kamikaze as a head coach in the past, that also tried to overcook with Verdi on the neon in the past. So this is probably something that they saw the potential in, and with the neon buffs, you're definitely taking advantage of that right now for All Knights, and they're passing it with flying colors until this time around. A couple of pop shots with a share through the smoke, 145 onto Dante. And that's finally going to hinder things here for All Knights. Yes, they look dominant for quite a few rounds, but remember, it's only a 2-4 scoreline. One quick kill here on Dante, a conversion on the round, quickly makes this a very close game once again.
And they're looking for an excuse to use this. Durango just waiting by, and of course information comes through, but this is beautiful. They do use at least a stun to kind of revert that. And the tactic is great, but what is All Knights going to do after this? I mean, at this point, they need to back off. Durango finding two of their own just due to that impatience.
Sabano's inserted, though. If he gets this pick onto Sato, this would be huge.
30
Not
seconds.
even a lick of damage, and catches the rotate. They're inserted everywhere.
Wow. Dude, and they're not stopping.
A lot of bullets.
Oh. 4 health. Okay, either way, they do manage to win out that fight, but a 2v1.
Oh, no.
But if Luck can
This is
actually
not
catch
good.
this out, no, this is going to be beautiful. This might be the time for them to take it. They know that the rotation's coming in way too late. And it's Tenshov that might just be able to make it in time. Taking in the 1v1, they know it's half. So they know the timing of it all. And of course, the headshot comes in. It is timing to the max.
That's one of those moments that, yes, they are able to get the clutch into that one and that 1v1, but there's definitely going to be a conversation coming in from the IGL or anybody else with any type of leadership that would say, that was a little bit too preemptive to go for a plant at that point. Yes, you got that pick. There's 19 seconds left, but there's still 19 seconds left. Give a chance here for Tinchop to meet up with you, Adverso. And he was the type of person that was actually calling out for his team before, saying, guys, we need to calm down a bit in these moments, and he preemptively planted, which was quite surprising, but I guess it's running off the high of how quickly these rounds have been coming down here for All Knights. Expensive round, though, for them to win.
Yeah.
There's a lower buy that you had for GLRS, but they got so many rounds in their pocket. Got money to work with.
Yeah, have it locked down. Okay, Rude is there. Nobody clears the corner, but instead it doesn't matter, right? Refrag's always coming down for All Knights, and now it is what is going on. You have the op, you missed the shots, and now they know the op is there. Sato, all he can really do at this point is run away from the situation and then pray for the best coming into the next round. But, you know, with the op in hand, they know that it's there. They're going to take extra precautions.
Cover going out.
And money, so much money right now for All Knights. So they will try to find Sato. Sato did a good move here, moving out towards the gong. Because he shot that shot towards the spawn. You would think here he'd try to stay towards heaven, towards hell, towards 8th site. He should be okay. Nonetheless, though, this is still All Knights continuing with so much utility and pressure that GLRS cannot fight against. And this is first-hand experience here that GLRS is currently... It's okay. We didn't see anything, chat. We didn't see anything. First time, actually, that they have an opportunity to fight against this type of composition and this type of aggression coming out from Dante. Where, yes, you had a first-hand of a first taste on that first map here of Sunset, but this now comes to show that they came into the second map comfortable because of how well they played against TSM yesterday. But they're soon realizing here that their composition, their setups, the map that they haven't played for over a year, coming out with this composition right here, which is not really an overcook. This is still a meta composition that you currently see from GLRS, is being dismantled by All Knights so far, with Dante at the point again.
Nowhere to run.
Okay, they're outie. Now they're back in it, though. They can't really escape from the death that awaits them. But of course, here, even then, you really can't do anything about the majority. Just getting taken down with GLRS. Instead, the rotation comes in. Now they have to work off of this 3v4. Not even a fault line left in sight. They could wait for the reload there, but they have just previously used it.
You're hoping at this point that after the amount of util that's going to be used by both initiators, that you will find a line here for Sato to get a pick off a tap after all the util, to give yourself a chance here to fight in the pulse plan. Already the dash is activated, the aftershock fears out, they know now everybody's playing towards long. A late lurk activated by Tinchop, there's that first pick, but the lurk is too good.
They still have it, Sato.
Cage triggered.
Oh, no.
Gotta save, yeah, there's no time.
And it would have been good, but yeah, you're right. Doesn't matter regardless. They do have the post plan under locks, and yeah, Evil's just like, peace. I know I'm outie. There really is no point in me trying at this point, but yeah, round win. And another save coming through. The op definitely of importance here, but how important? Especially when you're going 7-2.
It's important for sure with Sato when it's in his hands. You've seen him in the first map. You've seen him against TSM yesterday, especially on the map like Abyss, when he had to play against Sim that was playing off the charts as well for TSM. He was definitely at the forefront on how many kills he was stringing in here on the side of GLRS to keep them alive in the matchup against TSM. And this time, yes, he's still at the top, but only at 7. But also because All Knights are doing such a great job avoiding the op in the very beginning. And you can also see the positioning you have from Sato. He can't really go down the line to op down towards long A because there's a smoke being thrown. And if he tries to walk down towards sewers, where there's going to be a concuss and a fault line that stuns him, and he can't really get anything unless he goes for the dash peek and run away. Maybe that has to be the type of win con to try to shut down Dante early.
Spike planted. Bomb grenade out.
Possible final moments of All Knights. If GLRS has anything to say about it, this is huge potential. Okay, to reel things back in. This might have to be the round to do so. If not, they're back into another economic despair. They have to try to pick themselves back up and out of it. But Dante's absolutely insane, winning out the majority of those fights. It doesn't matter. The duelist making the moves. Now everybody else trying to move themselves back in. GLRS, they can't seem to win the fight, but the op slowly makes its way back, and it's beautiful from Tinchop. He closes it for that 8-2.
And even if he was going to fall down, the amount of clock that was wasted on the side of All Knights, the win condition was going to be Sabanto on the long lurk, taking a promenade around garage all the way towards the spawn. And even at that moment, maybe he had an opportunity to get the timing if he actually kept his knife out. But he just wanted to make sure that he didn't get hurt, and Tinchop didn't even need his teammate. Beautifully done. I mean, if anything, Sabanto didn't get the lurk behind for the kills, but he threw the one-way to allow Tinchop to win those fights. So coordination continues to be great here under adversity, under the chaos for All Knights. And GLRS, 2 more rounds to try to salvage some rounds on the defensive side. A push inside the window, and it just got spotted by an Aldro.
Looking for some of the blades. It's really hit, but the connection isn't making it there. It really is always Dante taking the first bloods. It's been absolutely insane this whole entire game. All Knights applying the pressure. Yeah, okay, Dante goes down, but they've already made the opening and created the satisfaction that All Knights needed at this point in time.
Yeah, and Luxo is on the top of heaven, so it's not going to be the best paranoia, but at least they have the breach at graffiti, so they'll be able to X-strike the amount of flashes to try to flood retake back on the lower buy.
But the timing of that is going to be pretty detrimental. Sato can't do, too much in this moment. The one-way's definitely obscuring a lot of that vision, but GLRS, they're fighting back the 2v2, the possibility, but Urengo is left alone. And it's always going to be that win out coming through from All Knights. They have been winning the 1v1s very, honestly, frequently.
Yeah, and it's the first time that it looked a little bit difficult, though, to capitalize on these kills on the side of All Knights here in the post-plant scenario, especially trying to get that player updrafted towards the air, cannot swap onto Sato, and even one-way smokes being thrown by Sabanto allows for them to get first contact and spotting the legs and the feet quite freely at this point for GLRS' attempt on the retake, and it still can land those shots. But when it comes down to, it doesn't matter with how many players we kept alive, 1, 2, we just win round after round, so they're just buying for the whole half. they're good to buy for the whole half, and GLRS finally has an opportunity to salvage economy and also cycle ults to hopefully get the last one here of this half.
Grenade. Long grenade out.
Yeah, they have set the nade down. Some of the difficulties are rising. This isn't going to be easy. Already, though, Tinshoff so huge off of that. But the timing is immense. They knew Sathok could take care of it. What else? What more can they do other than really try to push themselves forward here? Of course, though, coming down through smoke, it is going to be Dante that still gets one, regardless of what was going on. Oh my gosh, it's chaotic left on site.
Hunter's Fury TK on top of that when Santo finally survived against the push, the aggression, but this time it's Sabanto and Nico Machine pushing out towards the spawn. And they don't need Dante. Dante is just smoke in the mirror. Yes, getting the first kills, but if the rest of the team needs to pick up the pull up the boy pants, they will. And they're actually winning these fights as well. 10-2 half for all Knights. I'm running out of breath because I feel like I have no choice, no time to really get a sentence out through all the action.
No, it's literally everything is just out there. And I feel like I'm reading off a dictionary every single word that I can think of. It's crazy. Like, it never feels like it makes sense to me, but it makes sense. So at the same time, I don't even know. But yeah, it's insane. GLRS in this moment, like, reaching down to that 210 after such a strong performance coming down to that last map. And now the struggle is real, right? Like, he just keeps telling us to shut up, so I guess I will.
Everybody's staying quiet for sure so far, and you're definitely seeing it how all Knights, yes, they came through here with a reverse sweep loss against Reta in their regional matchup. And you would think here that maybe they don't look the best here, but if you paid attention to that region, they are so structured going into this game. It comes to show that Reta on a good day, what potential could it actually bring? I mean, we already saw the potential of it now that they played against TSM and won that series quite convincingly. But now moving forward, how strong is actually Reta after all? Oh yeah, pump that bicep. Pump that bicep.
This is not Valorant. This is actually a muscle performance, and that's what I came here to cast. I mean, that's what I was hired for.
If anything, from a muscle performance, it's definitely Dante. He's got some quads. He's got some calves. Yeah. He's got the butt muscles because he's running quick and he's carrying everybody with him so far in all these entries.
That's amazing. Yeah, I honestly, Dante is definitely like really pulling through. After 30 kills last game, like, this guy's just on top of it. And I feel like performance-wise, they're definitely getting a lot of the screen time here for a reason. They've been getting a lot of the first kills, the first entries, et cetera, making the space for the team regardless of what the situation is. They follow through the plan every single time.
And the crazy part is that he's not even the first on the scoreboard right now. It's Sabanto being the silent killer for all Knights on the attacking side, on lurks, on smokes. He's all around doing such a great job on the attack side that his cast is going to be off the charts on the first half. That said, though, it's time for GLRS. They've seen this strat before, for sure. We've seen the dart coming through, and that's why we have the cages for Tinkoff to play inside Tinchoff rather than play inside the site and get the first blood.
Oh no, they're not even finding the tricks. They're shooting in the right spots, but they can't find it. And that's gonna suck. I mean, maybe not. Dante's there, so you already know there's gonna be a free one left too. That's the thing though, GLRS, they have had, I mean, so many strong moments, but right now it just seems like, they're just getting so much pressure already set into them, especially now with the flank, but this is good. This might be the turnaround they need. Finally, the confidence starting to pick itself back up. White swing. Just doesn't work out the way they planned, but the headshots are there. And GLRS, they're back, baby.
That was unfortunately a mistake coming out here from Adverso. Dante, I don't know if you're going to be able to get these taps. Probably not. Rongo was able to save that round here for GLRS, but again, Adverso a little bit too preemptive before with a plant on the attack side. This time, a little bit too quick on the flank. He had the perfect timing, but he needed his teammates on the other side of the map to start using a little bit more util and keep the attention of those playing on the backside of C to support their teammates towards the front so he could actually get that timing. And unfortunately here with him dying, that really was a nail in the coffin here to allow GLRS to stay alive in this pistol round and in this matchup. I mean, you're looking at it so far, it almost could have been that same storyline for AK versus Reta, where GLRS wins the first 2 rounds and then AK won 13 rounds in a row. But now they're just feeling that confidence that makes them overpeak and overheat. And now getting punished in the process as GLRS is able to score a nice little first blood in the eco of All Knights.
Come on. Right there in that moment, the TP is settled down, Luck.
There they are.
Not feeling too lucky, GLRS. They do have to back themselves off. Okay, they won the last round, and at this point, they're owing some respects to the team, which I highly respect. But the biggest situation here at hand is that they just, I was about to say, they let that pickup happen. They might just not let it slide, but regardless, yeah. AK, they've finally met their match right now.
Turret even spotted Sabanto, allowing here Rude to get the lurk into the garage. Everybody's just going to pinch towards this area. They know that there's at the least one player towards C. There's that lurk kill. Doesn't really matter where Nico Machine's going to be. Yes, he's going to pick up a Spectre. Even if he gets some damage done and a kill, there's still 3 other players that are already ready for a trade. Nicely done here for GLRS to stay calm under the pressure of running potentially 0-2. And their 2 first opening games here in Ascension. It also brings back to what I was trying to mention before with Reta being able to defeat All Knights. What is the potential and how high is this competition so far of all of the 6 teams currently competing in Ascension? Gotta say, it's gotta be quite high so far. I could potentially see them
Enemy remaining.
turn some heads around moving into partnership for any of these teams.
Yeah. Honestly, everybody's here. It's regardless.
100%.
It's almost. It's like not only are you playing for VCT Americas, but you're also auditioning at the same time. Like everyone is so good, and it's crazy how many players that, you know, at this point, honestly, are taking such a step up to really make it happen for their team. Like GLRS right now, even just not giving up just yet. To put themselves in a higher position. They know, okay, 410, listen, we've made it to OT before, we can do it again, but now the wide swing comes through, and it's going to be Evil that does manage to get a takedown. GLRS is back, and they're better than ever.
Exactly, and that's what you're starting to see. It was some labored shots going into the last few rounds of the first half, and you're starting to see it being much more difficult to fight back in these duels that were so good with in the long-range fights for All Knights in the very beginning. But Orango survives at 1 HP. Now after the plant 1 away from a Rolling Thunder and has full utility to delay the flood back from the spawn. So it'll have to come down to Dante's aim.
Go, go. Shocking. Gotta go.
They might have that, though. Okay, they do push themselves forward. Oh, Dante's insane! That shot stuck behind. They don't get it, though.
Enemy remaining.
Although regardless, I mean, they did manage to get the first 2. They've opened up the site so beautifully. Dante, is it going to be a 4Q 1v1? And it's not. The Zippo clutch coming through from Luck.
You're definitely putting the luck in a name there for Luxel for sure. What a clean shot that he had on the top of the heaven. Onto, I think that was Nico Machine on the top of the heaven side. And it looked like it was going to be, it should have been a much cleaner post-plan hold for GLRS when it had all of these positions. The recon art was perfect, and somehow you still swing through and get the pick and a wall bang into hell, which made them think, which made them really stress out in those moments there for GLRS into that post-plan, allowing the Omen on the other end for GLRS to really step up to the plate, allowing GLRS to really continue to fight now. And remember, this is only the second map. So this is a steep uphill battle right now for GLRS to try to not only tie the game, push this into a third map. And if we go to a third map, what is the resiliency that you currently have from GLRS with the amount of suffocating they've been receiving on the front end of the utility that's being utilized by All Knights? You got to be gassed out at some point.
That they might be, dude. The passion behind the speech as well. I'm loving it. You can, like, everyone's into this game. It's not only the members, it's the coaches too, the assistant coaches, like everything And it's so beautiful. I'm not at lane, but I feel like I am, and that's the energy that this game is giving off. It's great. Like, I can hear the screams from my apartment. It's that might be a bit concerning, but I can hear them. And it's honestly it's a great game. This is not what I was expecting at all from both these teams. GLRS, they're really looking to make a difference here. And honestly, 5-10, they're slowly making that work back up.
Yeah, that's an All Knights timeout. Despite them having to lead by 5, they're just trying to figure out how they could activate Dante a little bit more, because just like All Knights have been doing, they did such a great job avoiding Sato at the beginning of these rounds to flood, be quick with Dante's high gear to get these openers. But on the other end, though, now you have the opposite thing happening, right? You have, moving forward, GLRS doing the same thing, avoiding Dante to get some fast picks in the very beginning. So Zonic and Basi that you saw at the very beginning of this timeout talking, really almost dictating what they need to do now. They're trying to stop this aggression that's coming out from GLRS. GLRS for their end, well, yeah, they definitely stopped in the very beginning, playing out towards the spawn, up against what they think could be an eco for All Knights, but All Knights are playing a crossfire stack on the C site with Stingers. And the Owl Drone was used so early here for the defensive side. See nothing towards this B site. They still have a camera there. And it's Dante the one. I think if they see Dante here, I think he almost wanted to get himself seen here by the Owl Drone so that they could pivot the opponents over towards the C site. Avoid Dante because he's got the overdrive, and then walk into the crossfire setup. And it still works out to be the end result. All Knights in a perfect position.
Shadows.
That smoke's going to actually be a really good application of pressure. Sato can't get by regardless. The paranoia working in confusion to everything else. And it just makes the play work. Everything feels so rich. Now the TP going over down towards A and the fast rotation commences. Dante, though, is going to be very, very big expense here, especially with the ult coming through.
Will he overheat, though? That's the biggest question, because that TP from Luxo was actually really good. And it's the overheat, but it's a spike down. It works out.
Do they have it?
Not yet.
GLRS. Maybe so. I mean, at this point, definitely having the fights, but still stuck behind. Box managing to make this work, though up top.
Spike planted.
1 second left. They do manage to get the spike planted. 45 health left on Nico Machine. And how is the Machine going to work today? Oh my gosh, I thought they were going to die upon fall, but the impact was not enough, and that's okay.
Oh, it was so close, too, that you saw it from All Knights. Not only the first kill that came out to drop that spike, and really you started seeing GLRS just starting to run around the site, being like, oh crap, gotta pick up the spike here and try to pick it up. But the recon dart was perfect coming out from Evil King to allow these trades to happen, and then the spike to come down at the right moment. It was like, what, maybe less than a second remaining before they could get the plant down. And Adverso was trying to find that timing on the recon play to really try to dash across and get that pick and deny that plant. There were so many bodies watching them that GLRS is able to stay alive to fight.
Take this.
Now a change of pace from All Knights, already pushing forward. So that position is now in lockdown. But they have so many players this time around supporting the A-side lurk, or the A-side push, that GLRS is going to pivot right into a B-side hit. What a shot.
Take that off. We're going to back up just a bit, but the defense, they're preparing. You can see the formation that they're taking place here on the extremities. Right there goes the first. Sato's going to be the one to play the duelist role this time, but it gets taken back immediately. Right there and then, the headshot makes a tremendous play back into it. GLRS, they said, nah, you're done. All right, there it goes, All Knights. They are slowly letting themselves go.
Be faster.
And the utility is being used here to take control of the long side, but I'm not too sure about the breach being fully inserted towards the sewers when they're playing so passively on pretty much a 2-0-3 setup. And when you're doing that and you're not really waiting for your teams to play the rotate to pinch back on both extremities towards B or even try to activate some lurks, you've given a lot of space away here for GLRS. So good on them on GLRS' side to really pivot out and really find these hits.
Dude, I mean, Only one down, though, luckily enough for the attacking side. But for GLRS, that could be very detrimental. The A site now not having too much util to play with down to the post plant. They could use Urango there, though. They do have the ultimate, so maybe keeping the extremities out of the way. It seems like the pings are coming through, so they're planning one of their own here for Nico Machine, and the timing, it could work.
They're trying to bait out that Rolling Thunder by tapping onto that spike. And I look at how forward that trip is from Tinchoff. You can't really break that trip to come across, and even if they break it, they have so much time to act upon it. A second tap here to try to bait once again the Rolling Thunder. Finally gets broken. A recon dart in, and this might be the full stick. But the recon dart, it gets shot right away, and that's going to keep all of All Knights inside this A site to get ready to flood back.
Oh, they're ready for it, too. Who's going to put it out first, though, is the question. Maybe in Cohesion they could do so, but of course stunned underneath, and down they go. This is going to be detrimental to the max, as now they're completely taken away.
That is just too good for All Knights to remain composed on the amount of taps that came through. I like the attempt. You saw it from GLRS' side. It was Evil Kick that was trying to get that plant so he could get the Hunter's Fury up as soon as possible, but then realizing, oh my god, we can't really bait out that Rolling Thunder, they give it to Luxo so they could plant and TP across, where he actually avoided the Rolling Thunder, but then everything else right after in terms of that flood util was just too good. And just because of that single trip by Tinchoff in the front of that B side, there was no extra lurk that was able to come through here from that Sova on the side of GLRS. He's left on an island where Evil Kick can't really come back to play forward to be able to get that to help out the team. And I apologize, it wasn't even Evil Kick that was trying to get the plant before, but it was somebody else for sure before they gave it over to the Omen, and then realizing here that they couldn't do anything overall in terms of that post plant.
That was, I mean, the turning point moment. GLRS, they were running off, that momentum. Of course, they could still have it, but at that point, they've, I guess, found the way. The ultimate definitely being a big help there for the side of All Knights. So will it happen again? Maybe, maybe not. Not having the ult there is definitely going to be a big detriment, but maybe using the fault line a bit more strategically. It does feel like they've been forcing more so the plays moving back onto the site instead of really thinking about and dwelling on, the repetitions that we've been seeing from GLRS. But overall, I mean, it's been looking great.
Yeah. And that's why you have like the strength coming through here from having your Omen instead of an Astra as well, and keeping the breach. When you're looking at it, it allows here for the TPs to come across what potentially could have been here for All Knights trying to TP across trips, but then realizing here that they're playing against a heavy composition that's trying to flood back within these sites. That paranoia could be a huge piece of utility along with the fault line and the aftershock to really clear out towards hell and allow for you to really fight back on the retakes on the site. So very nicely done, and a small change coming through, and Sabanto, not playing the Astra but onto the Omen, is still doing an incredible job in this role. Another forward position. Smoke being thrown. This is, again, this is now going to be a contact of Dante towards this long. If there's a drone that comes through, he tries to dash away. A paranoia could be thrown by Sabanto, and Dante, he's going to slide back.
down
Or not
A.
slide at all, just get a double kill like that. That's crazy.
It's just, honestly, just don't stand there. I don't feel like that's the only piece of advice. That's the only piece of advice. This is crazy.
What can you do at this point? Almost a win condition after this timeout. That's something that GLRS has been doing, is leverage the lockdown, leveraging their ultimates to try to get possession of the round.
Remaining.
It's only
so
left
lit as well.
Rude alone there. Yeah, it's so good by All Knights. I'm so impressed.
The double shock dart because of an unfortunate TP coming through from Luck. That just hurts. And overall, like, everyone's just playing so well that it really is, though, Dante down to this opening moment, right? Having the correct timing, the correct shots. What was that? Never mind. But like everything else after that, before that, was great. And that's the thing. It's like,
did it on purpose. The wide swing to break crossdoor placement to get the guaranteed trade. It was nice. I love it.
The side eye. And man, they're having a good time too.
This is definitely an All Knights. It kind of shows how hard it was for M80 to try to win that series that they had against All Knights yesterday. You have 2 maps that went into overtimes that had to be concluded into overtimes, and that had to come down once again to hero plays when Dante, that we're praising so much, was playing ISO on Icebox and just tried to open up the site over towards the B side and just lost his duels every single time against BCJ. That didn't really allow here All Knights to take control of the B side.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe that's why we're going to avoid Icebox this time around and just start playing a little bit more Neon and Jet. And you're starting to see why you want to have somebody like Dante on an agent that's going to create some space rather than just trying to walk it through, because the sliding accuracy and how good he is on the movement around these type of agents doesn't really allow for you to capitalize on a defensive anchored plays on your defensive side. So this is so good what I'm currently seeing here from All Knights. Of course, map series point, stop by a technical pause.
This is it. The possible final moment within the series. Who might be able to take away, honestly, is the question. Will it be All Knights, right? Down in that match point? Or GLRS, who are looking for some sort of retake, some sort of victory. But Dante, he's been in this position before. He's been good with the shots. He might just be able to take away again, dude. The smokes, just don't stand there, as the tip said before. Maybe don't stand there, you shall. All Knights, they see everything. And you are next in the lineup, Durango. I mean, is this game over? It seems like it is.
It's
game over. It shall be the GG for a quick ending and a beautiful, beautiful series. There it goes. The stretch, the talk, and everybody's having a good time.
The Black Light Fall is to finish it there. That was so sick coming in from All Knights overall, and GLRS, unfortunately, here they're going to feel it right now after coming out of these 2 games 0-2. And I was going to say this had to be a difficult start coming out here from All Knights, because they had to play against tournament favorites being M80. Then they had to play against the #1 seed of GLRS, who has been unstoppable here in their region. And now they're able to come back here to lose in an 0-2 double and triple overtime against M80, and then a convincing win in the 3rd map. And again, you gotta praise Dante, but you also have to praise the amount of utility of the initiators around that. It's almost looking at, maybe that's why All Knights has this logo that looks like Leviathan. It's almost looking at the amount of utility that supports Aspas on the entries, and that's currently what I'm seeing here from All Knights' side to support here Dante on these openings.
Oh my gosh, my camera just died, and
It's a great picture. It's a great picture. It's like, today I'm not satisfied by GLRS.
don't stare at me. Don't stare at me, but congratulations. Okay, great. We're both frozen. It's picture day. This is actually all planned. I look so tired in that. Dans, you look amazing. I just wanted to let you know real quick. He can't talk. He's frozen in place, but thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, there it goes. I'm super super happy that, okay.
I cannot hold it anymore. I can't.
You're like, guys, you're live, by the way. We know, it's fine.
That's a good way to close it out. It's a 2-0 that goes the way of All Knights, and honestly, a team that continues to look great. Yesterday, they look amazing, but they couldn't win against M80. Today, they look amazing, and they win against GLRS, Psycho. I love to see this team. The more and more that we see them in Ascension, the better I feel about them.
I think this might be my favorite team to watch right now. I mean, they are just so exciting. I think I said it before this map, but even the rounds they're losing, they just seem in control of the round until the very last moment. They are dictating the pace. They're bringing it to them. They're putting the other team on the back foot and putting the onus on them to react how they're playing. I think it's a really good style. We'll see how far it carries them in through this tournament, but right now I'm loving what I'm seeing.
Just want to take a check-in at this point as well and just say that the talent in LATAM and Brazil, the kids are all right. You know what I mean? They're doing just fine. Dante Diaz has an average 360 odd ACS over the course of the series, and during the map select I sort of mentioned, okay, these are both good neon maps, right? Thinking that it would be a factor, not take over the entire game, but we see that All Knights play into that style so heavily. Dante Diaz, after 20 rounds, is 27 kills, 10-0. First kill, first death. He's literally unkillable. And look at this. Look at how they push up the extremities. They isolate players with these smokes, and then they just push through the smokes. It doesn't make it make sense. Somebody, please. We need to find a team that forces All Knights to respect them. Because in the matchup domestically against Reta, they kind of struggled on maps where they couldn't play this Neon style. And frankly, it made them look different as a whole. It's more like Dante goes in, gets killed, tries to get out, right? It's more in-out, whereas this is just full commit, balls to the wall, all in. It's really fun Valorant to watch, and these guys are electrifying.
They look amazing, and I love to see it because this is, for LATAM, what they've been waiting for so long, a guy like him. And in general, I think there's nothing more fun than watching a guy where you are always wondering, how did he get this? How is he going to do the same thing and get the kill again? It's something that Dante Deus is doing constantly, and it looks amazing for the team. And obviously, All Knights is setting him up for success in such a nice way. Even in that second half, they were really struggling. 5 rounds in a row the GLRS were getting. It seems like it was possibly comeback happening, but it was the 3 rounds where Dante Deus, he gets a first kill. The rest of the team really quickly rushes to him to help him out, and they're able to close them out that way. Psycho.
Yeah, I mean, and look at those post plans. 10 of 12 post plans won by AK. That's an insane statistic. 384 ACS from Dante, claiming that MVP spot, going 27 and 15. I mean, this guy is a shooter. I don't know if there's many other Neons out there in Ascension that can really go toe to toe with this guy, or just even just scrape the surface of what this guy is doing with this agent. I mean, this is phenomenal.
And how many more times can you keep doing this, right? Because it looks good yesterday against Mady. It looks good today. Yeah, he can't keep getting away with it. But honestly, I feel like he will. I see this guy making it really far. I see All Knights making it really far. Just the way that the whole team is looking, and even just to bring something new up as well, it is Dante Deus, but it's also the rest of the team, the support, and Adverso. When you see him talking, he's not angry, but he's very seriously talking to his team when they need to get it together, when they need to start winning those rounds again, Uber. And that's also something nice to have from our IGL and from your captain.
Absolutely. And he keeps like a decent foundation structure. I know it's hard to imagine this kind of playstyle is structured, but it is, and it's relentless, and it's forcing so many errors. Let's remember that one round, right? I remember because it was kind of weird, where Dante there slides out of A long onto the A side, fights Sato, gets him to 2 HP. Sato pulls out the shorty, kills him, and then dies to his own teammate's Hunter's Fury, because obviously his teammate is assuming that he's probably going to get killed there. He's just like, well, no, let's get the trade kind of thing. There are a ton of moments like that, and I think that it's hard to see the structure amongst this. But All Knights have that in spades. It's what allows them to keep repeating this instead of just throwing caution to the wind and hoping that they can get away with something aggressive. It's not the Dante Deus go kill strategy as much as it seems like that. There's a lot of depth here. Sabando is just there were some rounds where we saw All Knights having to anchor sites, having to fight into sites, having to do take on retakes, very similar to what we saw on Sunset, where they play off the site and come back in, and it's really hard to retake A. And there's only one real viable way to do it, is through Link. It's tough to come in from heaven. Sabando looked excellent in those moments. This team has kind of got it all right now. They're pretty sick.
It's really cool because it doesn't look like it's a team that is adapting to what everybody else is doing, and it's just, oh, they're playing this composition that we saw from this other team. Is they are making their own composition. They're figuring out what works for them specifically, and that is how they're finding success so far. So it looks amazing for All Knights. Before we have an interview, but before we go to the break, we do have a giveaway. Blacklight is giving away a chair, and they're really nice chairs, by the way, so make sure you check them out. It's going to be on the Twitch chat. It's going to be linked, so make sure you check it out, you sign up, and you might be able to get one of those Blacklight chairs. I recommend it. Look at the price of them. I recommend you get one for free if you can. And we're going to go through a break. We're going to have an interview, and then we'll be back.
My camera is destroyed.
Hi guys, how you doing? I'm Vailina. I'm here with Dante. He just won his first match today against GLRS. I just want to ask him, how was a bit of details? How was yesterday that mental reset that they had to do for today? Dante, cuéntame, ¿cómo fue ese reset de mental que tuvieron que hacer para la partida del día de hoy?
La verdad que fue un poco de todo, ya que no nos sentimos inferiores a los rivales y nos jugó un toque en contra de la ansiedad. Pero yo creo que para el juego de hoy fue un poco más de la motivación del día de ayer, de saber que tenemos el nivel para estar acá y demostrar lo que venimos a hacer.
Our anxiety was really, really high yesterday, and that really played against us. But we really came to play our game. Today we could demonstrate really what we could do. The second question that I want to ask him is, what can we expect from All Knights from here for the next matches? Dante, ¿qué podemos esperar de All Knights y de ti también para las próximas partidas?
Un poco de todo. La verdad yo creo que podemos ser muy agresivos, muy pasivos, nunca se sabe. Depende del equipo, tengan cuidado. Pero esto va a ser solamente adaptación y quién juega mejor.
A bit of everything. We could be really aggressive, really play, really passive too. So it's a bit of everything. We can do everything that we want, and also we can adapt. The last question that I want to ask him is, what is the secret for his consistency? Because he's a really, really good player. Dante, ¿cuál es el secreto para ser tan consistente?
Yo creo que la rutina que hago antes de jugar, que es 2 a 5 DMs y galería de tiro, y un poco de lo que nos habla nuestro staff, que es todo táctico y me ayuda mucho a entender el juego de los rivales.
So my pre-game, I usually play 2 to 5 DMs, and also our staff, because they help us really to prepare for every match. Muchas gracias, Dante.
Gracias.
Thank you, guys. We're going back with the live stream.
Something that I want to highlight that he said that catches my attention is he says we can, for future matches, we can play very aggressive, very passive, depending on the team, so watch out. He's telling teams to watch out because you never know what can come from Dante, what can come from All Knights. And I feel like, yeah, we're knowing this team is very aggressive. They're going in, they have a neon, they can play fast, but he's giving us a warning that, you know, if they need to slow it down, if somebody's countering that aggressiveness that they're bringing, they're going to do it, Uber.
Yeah, something I saw all day is that if they give up map control or a part of the map, they always take something back as well. Sunset's a great example of this, right? When they pull off the A side, they stack a side, or they play into top mid and play off a side, they take mid and use it to wrap around. They always make sure they get something for what they offer up, which was in contrast to GLRS at multiple times where they just sort of got off the side, stepped back, tried to double up and just play corners, play angles and try and preempt with utility. The team is like, there's much more to it than just this raw aggression. I really like it. They channel it in a great way. They can play retake quite happily because they want to be attackers no matter what side of the map they're on, and playing for retake will allow you to do that as much as you like.
Yeah, you can do it constantly, and you can continue to expect that from the side of All Knights. And for today's match, it was something that we can continue to see in the future. We have a lot more matches, though. This is only the group stage cycle, and we have more teams playing against each other. We have standings, so you guys see how this is going to play out. Is going to be the teams continue to play each other. This is group stage. Nobody's eliminated just yet. Then towards the end of the group stage is going to be 2 teams getting eliminated, and then is playoff cycle.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's a lot of Valorant left to be played. This is a really good first impression, second impression rather, for AK. I mean, they're coming out here looking strong. A strong performance versus M80, even though they didn't get the win. Came out and took the win today. So, maybe they can carry this through. But there's a lot of games left to be played. Tomorrow we got TSM versus 2 game. It'll be an interesting one to see if TSM can regain after their loss today. And then M80 versus Retta. M80, the expected favorite here. Can they continue dominating these other teams and make it look convincing, a little bit more convincing than it was versus AK in those 2 overtime games?
Yeah, actually, we don't get to look at the standings, but for today, we got to see the 2 Latin American teams that didn't get a win yesterday get the wins today. So everybody's looking pretty positive, at least even, or at least 1-0. And tomorrow, we'll get a chance to continue to see those teams. There were the teams like 2G and M80 that were resting today. Well, we're going to be seeing them tomorrow. So Uber, any expectations for that? How that's going to be playing out?
Look, I'm still expecting to see a team like M80 show that like real consistency and big map pool, be solid across a whole bunch of matchups. Fuji really surprised us, I think. Now we're starting to realize that that might point to some issues on the Letter side, but we saw them also improve a lot today. So there's still, I can't believe it, coming to day 3, there are still a lot of wild cards here. We might just have to see every bloody matchup before we can really get a read on these teams. I mean, we're a lot more evenly matched than we expected coming in. That much we can confirm, especially seeing TSM struggles today. Now, I'm just excited to see more of these LATAM and Brazil teams. I've watched plenty of NA challenges here, but really excited to see this young talent turning up and also doing it on the stage for the first time. Great to see.
Yeah, trust me, I'm very excited, especially after today. The expectations for all the teams are up, and even compared to Ascension last year, we don't have one and only clear favorite. We have maybe a couple now. I would put M80, then All Night, and then it's kind of a nobody's at the bottom. Everybody's kind of fighting to get the third place to continue to fight in the way that I see it in my head, and it's going to continue to be that way for you guys to make your power rankings as these matches continue to go. This is everything that we have for today, though. Sanko, any last thoughts?
I'm just really excited to see how the rest of this plays out. Like you said, I really don't think that, outside of M80 and AK, they may look like favorites right now, but this is still anybody's tournament. We're only 2 days into a multi-week Ascension tournament. There's lots of Valorant to be played, and boy, am I strapped in and ready to watch it.
We're all very excited. Honestly, this tournament is shaping up to be amazing, very competitive for sure. A lot of different styles, but as we said, this is everything that we have for today. This is everything that we have of the second day. We'll see you tomorrow for day 3. Same time, same place.
Player standing. Auf Wiedersehen. Enemy down. One enemy remaining.
I know exactly